Yeah, okay. This is good. This is perfect. I'm excited to do this. Something I've wanted to do for a long time is rate the Elden Ring bosses. And I'm going to do so right now. Just a simple boss tier list. So let's put on some tavern music and let's get started. This is not going to be long. I don't think it's going to be difficult for me to figure this out. So, here we go. So here we are. We're at tiermaker.com. Let's do this. Yeah, that works better. Never bothered with Melania. That respect to whomever didn't say that. No, respect to those who said that. If you don't fight any boss because you didn't want to, that is valid. So we have S, A, B, C, D, and F. No E. Justice for E. And I'm just going to go through this in, order of how they are listed. This should be all the bosses. It's the first one that came up. And I'm just doing this right off the cuff. So here we go. Battle Mage Hugwes. I will have to reorder these afterward to give my true thoughts on this tier list. But here we go. Battle Mage Hughes never gave me any difficulty. But he has a solid number of abilities. He's one of the Everjail fighters, bosses, mini-bosses, I would say. Every Everjail boss is a mini-boss, in my opinion. Even though one of them is literally just Godric over again. I was expecting every boss to have an Everjail likeness, or a copy, but they didn't. But Battle Mage Hughes is he's just a boy. He's just a stronger version of a normal minion that shows up. He's a big minion, for sure, but he's just a minion that's given boss status and a cool name. No problems with him. He's not F tier because that's not like I dislike the fight. It's just, if you're in Caelid and you're ready to fight Radahn, this guy is not going to give you any difficulty whatsoever. It's also kind of cool that you see this guy before going into Liurnia of the Lakes, if you find him. And if you don't, and you come from Liurnia of the Lakes, you can see how the lore of the battle mages is kind of found throughout the world. The magicians tried to, strengthen their hold on Caelid, and Celia sank, just like Liurnia. And Battle Mage Hughes, or whatever you say, I still don't know how to say it, was imprisoned. Your favorite is John Elden Ring. Welcome back, Elbatrax. Thank you so much for being here, my good red-bow-tied Federalist. So yeah, Battle Mage Hughes D. Beast of Farum Azula. This is very similar, but I do think he is prepared and placed much better than Battle Mage Hughes. He's one of the first bosses you will face, and therefore he's a little bit more difficult than the Battle Mage. You're not going to run into this guy in, mid-game or end-game. So, Beast of Farum Azula is a C. I really enjoyed that fight when I first fought him. I think I've died once to him in my 4 playthroughs, so he's pretty easy, especially if you've played Souls before and know the cadence of the attacks, because he's basically just like an Abyss Watcher mixed with some of the other beastly enemies in, like, Bloodborne. So, he's pretty cool. I enjoyed him. I like him. But he's just a C. He's just a C, because he does show up as a regular minion later on. Just killed a dragon in DA2. Congratulations, Albatrax. Congratulations indeed, with your relations. Next is Bell-Bearing Hunter. Now this is an interesting one, because he is just a copy of a later boss, but he's actually much harder than that boss, and he only shows up at night outside of a merchant shop in the overworld, which is bizarre. You don't expect it. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Nobody expects the bell-bearing hunter. So it sticks out to me a lot more. Also, this guy shows up outside of every merchant. So you can kill him and take his bell bearings, if you wish, outside of every merchant shop, which I think is very cool. Is he cooler than the Beast of Faramazula? Probably. He is a boss, after all. But he's nothing super special, because the actual boss is a little bit simple, but very cool armor, very epic design, and really hard, actually. Those sweeping attacks are bad. Like, I die so often to them. What up, Young Sprite? We're doing a tier listing, impromptu, of Elden Ring's bosses. Because I've been wanting to do this recently, and someone mentioned ranking the bosses, and so here we go. Dr. Novell, I believe. Down the rabbit hole you go. Just found you're missing almost 80 weapons in Elden Ring, way more than you thought. Please lower my food on a dumb waiter. Download. Good luck, and God bless in that endeavor. Cosmic Forge. That's gonna be fun. Borealis, the Freezing Fog. This one is found later in the game. A normal dragon, but with a slightly different design than usual. I don't know where to put him yet. I'm a wyvern, excuse me. He doesn't have any forward legs and wings that are separate, so he's a wyvern. But yeah, he's basically just the regular wyvern that's given different, like, elemental powers. And he's big, about as big, I think, as Exykes in Caelid. I've had some trouble with him. The freeze... Kono Dioda! It's Dio! Thank you for the bits to play that, Dr. Novell. Yeah, he comes out of the fog real cool, so that's neat. The fog also impedes your ability to see him, so he sometimes can hit you out of nowhere. And the buildup of frost is really bad. So this guy, I would say... oh boy. I'm gonna put him in C. I don't really like it that much. It's not very different from any of the other wyvern bosses, but I like that there are every single different type of elemental damages to fight when it comes to wyverns. So, you know, that's a cool idea. But it's a C. It's regular. Good day, Living the Meme and Monster Man. Thank you for tuning in to the Elden Ring boss tier list. Welcome. Yes, these are all the Elden Ring bosses. I've wanted to do this for so long. Cemetery Shade. Ooh. Now this one is interesting because they only show up in catacombs, cemeteries, if you will, and they're the most demonic enemy in the game. So they're super mysterious. I like them. I like facing them as like a paladin or a faith caster and like have that thrill of role-playing a holy man fighting a demon. But they're generally very low health, so you don't get to see all of the abilities they have in the end. But I think that goes into D, and I do have some bias. It should probably go down to Battle Mage Hugis, because I think you only meet him 3 times, and he does become a normal enemy as well in the catacombs. But I really like the design and what they do to you. He has like a giant, like, it's basically a sunlight maggot on his head that is controlling him and can spit at you and slow you down while he uses his special, like, Bloodborne-styled switchblades to kill you. It's great. Great design, fun fight, but just not enough health to be challenging. And, you know, not a ton of abilities either. Haven't gotten to a bunch of these yet. You must find them. Also, spoilers for Elden Ring bosses. That's... that should be obvious. Don't know what the rot monster is called that has a bunch of arms and runs around and teleports. First one is in the Shade Castle, but that one has to be S+++++ and isn't even a boss. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't like that boss, but it is hard. It is hard. I would call it a mini-boss just because of how hard they are. They show up a lot, so... yeah, we'll get to that. Clean Rot Knight. Now these are just Clean Rot Knights. They show up in several places throughout Caelid, as well as once in Mount Gelmir, in the Shaded Castle, like we were talking. And they're generally pretty normal, but very elite knights. There are multiple different types. I think this one is talking about those that you find in the caves in Caelid, and you get the Golden Scarab as a reward for killing them. There are 2 of them. It's a tough fight. I like these guys because they are challenging to fight. They have some good armor, which means they have high resistances to things, and you generally have to be skilled and thoughtful as to your approach with them. So I also love their design. I love the fact you can get and wear their armor because it's so stinking cool. High Renaissance, romantic fantasy stuff. So, and they use holy damage. But the fact that they're pretty normal throughout the world means that this is not a very special feeling fight when you get to it. Alright, Commander Niall. Everybody knows Commander Niall. I like that he's like the brother of Neil or whatever his name is. But he has like different abilities. He has the lightning peg leg. It's crazy. I've died a lot to him, but I think the fight is fun. It's a little unfair that he gets to use summons. You know, he has those spirit banished knights. If it was just him, and they upped his health and damage or something, I would be totally okay with that. But as it is, having the banished knights be there is it's a little poopy. It's a bit of a scam. But it also means that the fight is different than most fights in that you have to work on getting away from those guys while you focus on Commander Niall. So, it's a good fight. I think this is probably the best fight out of these that we've talked about so far. It's the first real boss, I would say. Because none of these really are. Yet. Maybe Borealis the Freezing Fog, but you don't see too many copies of Commander Niall. Is he a B or an A? I don't know. I'm gonna leave him in B right now. Put him in A for a legit fight. Or, if you can cheese it, F if you can cheese it. There are some things that are, like, really make him easy to kill. So, I don't think he really deserves A, but that's just me. I do see S as, like, 10 out of 10, maybe 11 out of 10, and A as, like, 9 or 10, if that makes sense. B is really good. Like, B is top-notch. C is normal. D is worse than normal. F is the worst. I'm glad that it's this instead of, well, I guess there could be another tier. But Black Blade Kindred is next, and oh boy, this guy is rough. He's probably the first gargoyle that you would face. Doesn't have a ton of abilities, but he does have 2 movesets, and that crazy flame, Black Blade flame damage. Business nonsense. Super high health, even for anything in Caelid where he shows up. Really makes an impression. Maybe behind Commander Niall? I guess. You do see a lot more of them later on, but the Black Blade Kindred is a bit special. Chill Will, good afternoon. I'm faring quite well. Having a good day? We have chosen to do a tier listing for the Elden Ring bosses. BB Kindred is chonker, and the elevation makes him super wonky. That's true, the elevation kind of breaks the fight, which it makes it even harder, and I don't think on purpose. But yeah, B for now. I may change these around later. Black Knife Assassin. I believe that's the one in Altus Plateau. Right outside of Lanedell. This isn't the first time you fight a Black Knife Assassin. I don't know if there are other Black Knife Assassins in here. If there are, there are. Okay. Well, it's one of the only ones. It's like one of two. So I'll basically be rating this one out of all of the different times you fight the Black Knife Assassins, like in caves and catacombs. The Black Knife Assassin is really hard and tough. But I wouldn't say it's like a really special fight. You can kill them pretty quickly and be pretty quickly killed by them. So like, it makes a big impression when you first fight them, but ever afterwards kinda, oh, another one of these, you know? So kinda C. I will say they are harder than the Clean Raw Knights, though, for sure. So glad to hear that you are well. Indeed, I pray that you are also, Chill Will. Other one is in Sage Cave. 2 bosses in that cave and stays invisible until you hit them. Yeah, that one was crazy. With that, it remains there. The fact that you can't see them there and later on in the Forbidden Snowfield, in that liturgical city, is pretty neat. And bogus. It makes it feel like they're cheating, but you can get around it with that torch and it's neat. Bloodhound Knight Derry Will. I have a special place in my heart for Bloodhound Knight Derry Will. Just behind Commander Niall. He's a knight, he's a Bloodhound Knight, and his name is Derry Will. There's not much to say. Really cool moveset. Very Abyss Watchers. He's like Abyss Watchers combined with the Dancer of the Boreal Valley. Both amazing bosses from Dark Souls 3. I really love his armor set. I want to use it one of these days in a Bloodhound Knight Derry Will playthrough. But, we'll see how that goes. We'll get around to it eventually. Plan to play Elden Ring many more times. Thanks for the lurk, friends. Thanks a lot. Bowls, Carian Knight. I don't like this fight. It's another useless slave knight. I mean, not slave knight. What's it called? Prison. Everjail Prison. I'd say it's better than the Battle Mage Yugas, though. He is a magical knight of giant proportions, but he's just a giant and has some magic to him. Nothing really special. By the time you fight him, you can probably fight a ton of other giants just like him, which is a little silly. That sword they use is nuts, with the automatic backstab built into the moveset. That's true, the Black Knife Assassin ability. Oh, and the Bloodhound. No, the Bloodhound, yeah, the Bloodhound Step, that's what you were referring to. Yeah, that was super OP before the recent patch, and it still is OP, but not as OP as before. You could get away with murder, literally, with the Bloodhound Step. Allows you to kind of play a Bloodborne style of game. Commander O'Neill! Alright, O'Neill is interesting because he has a ton of summons, but he's basically just Commander Niall. Commander Niall Light. I like it though because you get to use Torrent to fight him, and that's kind of the only way to fight him. Unless you use summons yourself. I have done it without, but all of those tools that you can use to your advantage make him different than Commander Niall. But he still doesn't use his second phase abilities like Niall does, which is the Lightning Peg Leg. Just uses Rot. So he's less interesting. Next is the Crucible Knight. Oh gosh. Now this is an Everjail fight that I think is well placed. Well placed. Before Margit, but he's like a mid-game mob, right? He's a mid-game elite mob. And you're not going to easily forget the first time you fight a Crucible Knight no matter where you find them. So I'm going to put him ahead of the Beast of Farum Azula, ahead of the Cemetery Shade, ahead of the Bell-Bearing Hunter and the Black Blade Kindred, and above Bloodhound Knight Darrywill. What do you think, friends? I'm going to need your help on this Twitch chat. Crucible Knight ahead of Niall? Or behind? Yeah, those are the tanky ones that swoop on you with the wings, exactly. And Dragon Tail, yep, they're tough because they're almost impossible to stagger. Yeah, those guys are no joke. I'm just tempted to put them, like, into A or something, because it's such a challenge, and they keep showing up. And then you get, like, different versions of them as well. We may have the Tree Knight, Crucible Tree Knight, as well in here. If we don't, then I'll put him higher, because he kind of represents both of them. Yeah, I don't see him. So yeah, we're gonna put him higher. I think. Oh gosh, does he deserve to be higher? To be honest, he made a much bigger impact on my life than Commander Nile. Yeah, we'll keep him in B, but he's top of B. Dude, the one dungeon that has 2 of them in there, have you tried that one? I have.
Permission to take a team through the Stargate, sir.
Stargate! Thank you for the bitty boos, Dr. Novell. O'Neill? Yeah, there's O'Neill and Niall. I was going to say, yeah, the 2 of them, the first time I fought the 2 of them, I one-shot them. And everyone was like, dude, the 2 Crucible Knight fight, oh, it's so hard. And so I was like psyching myself up, like, okay, get ready for this. But I had fire, and they're really, really weak to fire damage. So I just one-shot them, and didn't have a problem with them. And that was my first playthrough. It shocked the world. Ever since then, I've had more trouble with them. But we'll see how we do in my current playthrough. Crystallians! Oh, I like the Crystallians, but they're pretty weak. They're pretty lame, honestly. I would put them behind the Clean Rot Knight. I still think they're more interesting than these 2 Evangel nonsense non-sequiturs. Decaying Exikes. I'm gonna say it that way, because I think it sounds cooler. So yeah, he's much better than Borealis the Freezing Fog, but he's basically the same. I don't know why Beast of Farum Azula is going to be higher than these dragons, but dragons all feel the same, in the same way that the Beast of Farum Azula does. But the Beast of Farum Azula, at least, is the first one of his type that you fight in a very specific cave right at the beginning, so it makes a bigger impact. It's probably the first boss you undertake, so it's an interesting experience. With Exikes, it's just like, oh, it's another dragon. Wait a minute, this dragon has rot. And he's huge. And he's stuck in this tiny little arena that causes him to be forced to respawn all the time. He doesn't respawn his health, thank God, but it's ridiculous. Crystallians are another gimmicky monster. It's true. With blunt damage, F. Without blunt damage, A? For annoyance? I don't know. I think the fact that there are lots of different weapons that deal differently with them means you can have a different experience, right? So they could be super easy, super hard, or just not. I mean, they're not ever going to be super hard, because even with non-stunning abilities, they can still be stunned and broken. I have died to them, though. I would say they were harder than either of these guys, because the one is trying to stab you all the time, and the other one is trying to throw magic at you. I really like their design, and their, like, noble, elegant bearing, and the fact that they dance at you all the time. Hello, MNC Gamers. Greetings and salutations. My dear Maud. Doing quite well, my fine friend. Fine feathered friend. We're doing a boss tier listing. I know I don't have that as the title, but this is very impromptu. Okay, Demi-Human Queen Margot and Maggie. Margot? Margot and Maggie. Yeah, it's not Margot. Demi-Human Queen. They kind of squished these two together, because they're basically the same. I like their design a lot. But they're super easy. They have super low health, and they don't do a whole lot of magic damage. The lore is super interesting, though. Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna put it behind Crystallians, because they're easier to kill. Big, huge hitbox, you know? Oh, I rather enjoy these tier lists. I'm glad to hear you're well. I hope you're doing well, MNC Gamers. Alright, Demi-Human Chief. Oh yeah, this is one of those early game bosses. The lower left half of Limgrave, or beach of Limgrave. Lower western Limgrave cave that leads to the dragon spot. The only reason you would ever die to this guy is if you didn't kill their associates quickly enough. I'd put him behind the Beast of Faramazula, and the dragons, and the Black Knife Assassin, and the Clean Rot Knight, but probably above the Crystallians. More fun to fight, especially because you have low levels at that point. You've been better, but can't complain. There's some tasty bosses in there. Oh yes, very tasty. Delectable. Alright. Divine Bridge Golem. I like the design, but fighting them is... I want to put them in F. I don't... They're so stupid. It's just hit them in their weak points, and then they're dead. There's nothing more to it. I've died to them, but it's basically just my own foolishness. I really wish that these bosses, the Divine Bridge Golems, had more to them. Were faster, weren't so easily affected. I don't know. I don't know how I would make them better, but just something missing with them. They're really easy. Generally. Alright. Dragonkin Soldier of Noxtella. I love this fight. I'm putting it in A. I don't care what anyone says. Super easy, low health, but amazing boss design. Two different phases. If you fight them when you're low level, they can be very, very difficult. Especially the one in the Rot Lake. Good grief, I've died to that one a lot. But the fact that they get wings in their second phase, a lot like some Crucible Knights, is interesting. Their lore is fascinating. And they have quite a good moveset. So, if only they had added more health to these guys, I think they would be even better. A tad over-cumbersome, yes. Ooh, I came back at a good time. Tier list hype! Let's go. Welcome back, Palico. The Rot Lake. Bad flashbacks. Yeah, very bad. The fact that they add that little mini-boss fight in the middle of a Rot Lake is insane. Alright, Erd Tree Avatar. I believe this is accounting for all of them. This guy is basically just the Demon Vanguard, the Asylum Demon, smushed together into one with more movesets and lasers. Lots of lasers and butt slams. I like him, but as a boss, they're very repetitive, and they're not the easiest, but they are kind of easy. They're a very middling boss. Yeah, let's put him ahead of Bloodhound Knight Derrywill. They're very cool, but I'm gonna place him right there. Remember having a rage fit when the giant centipede-esque enemy appeared from underneath the Rot Waterfall? Oh yeah. Did you rage quit? Martin, did you rage quit? Next is an interesting one, the Erdtree Burial Watchdog. I'd say this one is below average, because he looks really cool. His moveset is very janky. He can really easily kill you, but you can also really easily kill him. Yeah, cleanly below average. Above demi-human chief. Yeah, much more interesting to fight, and interesting design. This is an iconic enemy, though. Iconic boss. Alrighty. Esgar, Priest of Blood. This is another interesting catacombs-only type enemy that only shows up once. And he's ridiculously easy. I don't care who you are. If you're fighting him at all, you're already high enough level to beat him handily. But I would say he's better than the Erdtree Burial Watchdog, I guess. At least he's interesting. I want his hat. You were very close. Had only just managed to cross, and was just looking for some items, and then this dude appears out of nowhere. Yeah. Yeah, they really expect you to have been ready to just stand in the rot and take it at that point. Falling Star Beast. There are multiple Falling Star Beasts. So, oh, they also have the full-grown. Okay, the Falling Star Beast is pretty good. He is. Difficult, high health, high damage, and really well animated. As all the animals are in this game. I'd put him ahead of... Yee. This is hard, though. I'd put him ahead of the Erdtree avatar. Although I think I like the design of the Erdtree avatar more. It's a crazy design Falling Star Beasts have. I don't think they're better than Niall or O'Neill. There's no, like, really good sense of elegance, of character, or anything to the Falling Star Beasts. It's just, this is a monster from a meteor. And he has a bull-rushing moveset, and Centipede and Scorpion Tail. It's weird, it's like a Dark Souls 2. So, continuing, we have the Fell Twins. This is a fascinating encounter, because it's just basically two buffed trolls, or ogres, but they're in a black void when you get onto a certain divine bridge in Lanedale Capital. It's very interesting. The lore implications are very odd. They're interesting. But really, mechanically, there's nothing to it. Nothing much at all. But it's very memorable, for sure. I'd say... Above or below the Black Knife Assassins? It's kind of similar to the Black Knife Assassin experience. I barely even remember these. I say they're memorable, but then I say I didn't remember them. So, you know, make of that what you will. Is this selection by preference or difficulty? Both. Difficulty actually doesn't have too much to do with it. It's actually, and this is a good thing to know, this is based on personal preference, design, like physical design, visual design, as well as mechanical complexity and interest. So, whether it's, like, difficult or not doesn't make much difference to me. What really I'm basing this off of is how well of a constructed boss encounter it is. With the Fell Twins, it's just two trolls with buffed weapons stuck into a black void. The black void is the most interesting thing about this about this encounter. So I would put it probably just above the Clean Rot Knights. Because at least the arena is interesting. Yes, a well-rounded differentiation. Thank you, MNC Gamers. If you're looking for a difficulty tier list, that would probably be quite different. In fact, oh, the Dragonkin Soldier. This one is in the Rot Lake. Okay, So that's definitely above the other one. Or is it? Soldier of Noxtella. Do you fight this guy 3 times? So where's the third one? Well, I don't know. I really like the Dragonkin soldiers. So they're up there for me. They're up there. Next is Dragon Lord Placidusax. This is where we're getting up into A or S tier. This is a really good fight. I do find it a little bogus that he can basically teleport. But for me, he's one of the greats. One of the all-time greats of the game. If you can find him. He's very well hidden, and that makes finding him all the more interesting. Also, just amazing arena. You go back in time in order to fight him, and in this giant, like, gladiatorial arena in the sky, and he flies around and teleports around and uses red lightning, and it's an incredible fight. The best dragon fight in the game, for me. Next is Elden Beast, which is a strange point to be talking about the last boss of the game, but, This one is questionable. This one is debatable, because while I think his look, his impression, the lore behind him is all amazing and incredible visually, a lot of people don't like how he is a double boss fight. You have to fight Radagon and the Elden Beast right after another. One after another. Elden Beast straight to F. So it's... I don't know, man. I don't think he was the greatest of bosses, but I do think he was really fun. If he was on his own without Radagon, he may be up in S. The incantations he uses are amazing. I also think you need to be able to use Torrent in there to make it a bit more fair. But he doesn't have a whole lot of health, and you can kind of cheese him by running around to certain parts of his sides. But yeah, some of his abilities are really bogus, and he runs away so often. So I would put him in A. I would. Top A. Above the soldiers, of course, because, you know, compared to him, they're minions. But I really like the Elden Beast. Like, really cool. Very Studio Ghibli, very FromSoft. Very reminiscent of Demon Souls in a way. Alright, Elemer of the Briar. This is another one of my favorites, just out of sheer bias. I don't know if he's even as good as his copy, the Bell-Bearing Hunter. But I like where he's placed. I like his armor, his visuals. The fact that he is in a narrow room, which means you basically cannot run away from him, where you can generally run away from the Bell-Bearing Hunters, makes him a bit more important than the Bell-Bearing Hunter in my mind. But basically it's the same fight, so gotta put him right next to him. Himself. You liked the first phase more. Wasn't keen on the design for Elden Beast. Interesting concept, just not my preference. Fair enough. There's a lot of history and reasoning behind why they made him as such. He's like a sea creature, which is, you know, tapping into the Lovecraftian ideas. He has like this long neck and an astral body with a golden central nervous system, which is harkening back to Princess Mononoke. He has the long slug-like face ending in a single eye, which may not even be an eye at all, but also reminiscent of the Great One, the old one, I should say, from Demon Souls, and the fact that he's using a, like, DNA splice human sword made out of Radagon is pretty interesting. And he's basically in Ash Lake, a spiritual Ash Lake. So it's quite an amazing visual feast. But not for everyone, of course. Everyone has their preferences. Fia's Champion. These were just all of the different NPCs that fight for her, right? Yeah. This was okay. I'd say this was better than an Everjail fight, but not by much. Yeah, better than the demi-humans. Yeah. Not very good, lead up.
You freaking pricks!
You freaking pricks!
What will you learn? What will you learn? That your actions have consequences!
Thank you, Solomon SK! Welcome back to Charles Chill Channel, my good VIP, and welcome to an impromptu, tier listing. Mega Flower, finally starting in Assassin's Creed 3 and XCOM 2. Good luck, God bless, in those endeavors, my friend. Wondrous, wonderful Wednesday to you. Okay, so, that's that, basically. A bunch of NPCs in a row are not very interesting. Each one of them is interesting, but, I don't know, it felt very... It's a very lore-intensive series of fights. And not very hard. Not very hard at all. Your tier choices will have consequences, will they now? Will they now? Fire Giant time. This one... F. Spectacular size, scale, giant arena. Pun intended. Maybe top of C. He just took so dang long. Every time. And he has the power to one-shot you in both the first phase and the second phase. And, I mean, he's basically just another bridge golem. But harder. Is just not interesting to me. The fact that there are fire, you know, the fiery second phase is interesting, but...
You must be the new hunter.
Alright, I'll put him above the cemetery shade, okay? That is as far as I can put him. And thank you for the gift sub to Solomon SK, my dear MNC gamers. And, Solomon, welcome back to the Federation. Thank you very much, MNC gamers. Appreciate you. Had so much trouble with Fire Giant, yet I feel he shouldn't have been that hard. I agree. I definitely agree. He is a Fire Giant, though, so I guess it makes sense. I just didn't like the mechanics of it. Whether you use Torrent or not, it's kind of a nightmare. Flying Dragon Agil. This is definitely the best of the dragon fights. Being the first one, you don't really expect him to be very repetitive or to fight him again. And you don't know what he's going to do at first, so it's much more impressive than all of the dragon fights afterwards. Also, he's just a really solid dragon. He comes out of nowhere. It's an amazing lead-up. He comes out of nowhere into the lake, where you're about to fight some zombies, and just destroys the zombies. And then you're like, okay, I didn't think this was going to happen. We're fighting a dragon now. It's an impressive introduction. And it also opens up the Dragon Cathedral, so you can get miracles based on dragon abilities. But in the end, the AI is very basic and stupid, so you can just cheese the heck out of them. The People's Elbow, that's right. That's right. Yeah, he throws a UFO-sized dinner plate around. Hits you with a People's Elbow. Elbow! Should give him a slight nudge. Yeah, that's why I'm putting him up there in B. I hate him so much, man. It's a gimmicky, like, scenic fight, but I just don't like it. Full-grown Falling Star Beast. I believe you fight this at the top of Mount Gelmir, on one of the very mountaintops of the Gelmir shelf. And it's pretty fun. You can fall off and die. It is showing signs that it is turning into one of those Astel beasts, which is pretty interesting to see the way they develop. And it's very difficult, much more difficult than the last. Falling Star Beast is less powerful, less damaging, and has less abilities, I think. But there's not a huge difference between them. But I'll put him ahead of the Falling Star Beast. Yes, overall impression, Shawnee. And welcome back, Shawnee. Good to see you in the chat again. This is a tier list about the visuals, the mechanical complexity, and, like, my personal preference. Woofler77! Welcome in, little man. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Little guy, bigger guy. Hope you're doing well. We're doing a tier listing on the Elden Ring bosses. Glintstone Dragon Smaragd. I hate this guy, but he is harder to beat than most dragons. I think I actually like him less than Exykes, though. I do. Yeah. Alright. Not much to say there. Big, giant dragon who shoots magic at you and gets stuck on mountains and things sticking out of the ground and is really hard to kill, even with Torrent. Oh, Godefroy the Gifted. He's not Godric the Grafted, he's Godefroy the Gifted. I really enjoyed the ability to fight Godric again without the second phase. It's interesting. But, you know, it's just Godric again. So, whatever. Didn't make as big of an impression as the Erdtree Burial Watchdog, that's for sure. Yeah, welcome home, Shawnee. Give it a rest, mate. Take a good, long rest. Godfrey, the first Elden Lord, and Horlo. Question is he above or below the Elden Beast? I really like this fight. I do. The first phase is my favorite part of it, but it's not as hard as the second. Big ol' axe-wielding sumo wrestler, basically. Constantly stomping the ground and smashing it. Difficult to time, so very, very difficult at first to survive at all. But once you have the timing down, he is very doable, and I like that about him. Also, he has like a second phase during his first phase, where he starts using bigger explosive, like stomps and things, which I also like. Huge moveset. So, I'm gonna put him behind the Elden Beast, because I mean... Now I'm gonna put him above. I would not feel good about putting him behind Elden Beast anymore. Elden Beast is a much more simpler fight. Much more simpler? Much simpler. Wish you could get his Ghost version's Great Axe. It's a classic double-bladed style. Oh yeah, the one that's unbroken. That's right. Like a giant Gimli's axe. Yeah, I wish that too. I do wish that. Classic Godric the Grafted. This is definitely a contender in A. Worse than Elden Beast, not as difficult. That's Decaying Exykes. Why'd I put him up there? What the heck? Give me back my Godric. There he is. There he is, the crazy, screaming Godric the Grafted. I will say about Godfrey, his second phase is stupendous because it totally changes his look and his movesets. Makes him hyper-aggressive, super fast, and hard to kill. Even though he only has like 1/3 of his health bar by that point. So that's why I'm putting him above the Elden Beast. The Elden Beast does not have more than one phase. So, It does get, harder as you see more of his moveset. But Elden Beast not as interesting as Godfrey, the first Elden Lord, and Godric the Grafted just has really slow abilities. First and second phase. The fact that he has all of these cool voice lines showing how self-aggrandizing he is great too, though. He has good characterization. And also his moves are impressive. Visually. And in your first few attacks on him, it can seem pretty complex. Don't see any ring wraiths on the tier list? Are you not looking at the assassin? The Black Knife Assassin? They're right there. Ring wraiths. Ring wraiths, friend. Ring wraiths. Yeah. Okie doke. The Godskin Apostle. I like this guy a lot. Not as difficult as the Crucible Knight for me. I struggled a lot with the Crucible Knight. But the presentation is amazing. They come back for harder fights later. The lore is great. Lots of cool moves. They're stretchy. Should I put him in A? Or B? Fooling me with their name. They're basically just ring wraiths. Oh man, I don't know, man. Oh gosh. Where do I put him? What do you think, chat? Godskin Apostle better than Crucible Knight or worse? I will say, the harder Kaled Divine Tower version was very difficult and very hard to find. That was the first time I actually fought the Godskin Apostle. He was tough. Ring wraiths instantly top tier for you. That's right, Martin. I know you love them. I just don't find their fight to be very interesting. Had a harder time with both Godskin Bros. That's true. I wonder if that's going to be a separate boss fight in this. I don't know. They're about the same as the Crucible Knight for me. The Godskin Apostle. The skinny one. There it is, the Godskin Duo. Yeah, that's an A for me. A lot of people hate this duo because they just feel like it's a cop-out, put two difficult bosses together and make it even more difficult, but it's effective. It's effective. And you get the feeling that these guys are like hounding you throughout your playthrough. You fight one alone, you fight the other alone, you fight them in different context, and then you fight both together. And it's not just fighting two bosses, it's fighting a combination of one health bar, two bosses. The more you kill, the lower the health bar gets. So it's interesting. You can effectively just fight one of them and kill both of them if you hit them enough times. So I found it an interesting fight. I like the boss arena, and it's really hard, but doable, well-balanced. I've beaten them with and without summons, and it's just a fun fight to me. Godskin Noble. I'd say much harder, more complex, bigger than the Godskin Apostle. But yeah, they're about equal in my eyes, in terms of everything else. So, B for Godskin Noble as well. You'd put them higher. Usually with Crucibles, you have room to run away. So you'd put them higher because they're harder? Can't seem to find the hardest enemy in the game. The common dragonfly. I need to also do a tier list of all minions and mobs as well. Grafted Scion. This is the first boss you face, and the first time you die. They're hard. They're definitely difficult. But you can come right back in Liurnia of the Lakes and stomp them. So they're technically not that hard. You can't, but they have a really, really difficult to understand moveset, massive range, and they get a second phase in which they get hyper aggression and spinny do moves. Better than the Cemetery Shade, worse than the Fire Giant and Bell-Bearing Hunter. I think that makes sense to me. bigger move list. True. I just like the god skin. I mean, the dragon skin soldiers better than the god skins. Interesting, I never noticed. Dragon... No, it's not skin, it's dragon kin. Excuse me. So much skin talk, confusing me. Grave Warden Duelist. I remember seeing this guy and being like, whoa, he's so cool. And then I one-shot him, and I was like, oh. Okay. So he goes in F. F. Better than the Divine Bridge Golems. Yeah. Wait. Is Battle Mage Hugis worse or better than the Grave Warden Duelist? I do think he's probably harder. Let's do that. Couldn't handle the Noble because of that never-ending Michelin Man sumo roll. I know, it's rough. You just have to roll through it. The Battle of the Rolling. This is a Souls game. It's all about rolling. Kindred of Rot. Oh yeah, this is just basic minions. They're really hard when you first fight them. Very difficult if you get zapped over by teleporter to Kindred of Rot in Caelid, but in terms of the boss fight, they're just normal Kindred of Rot, not even buffed. I think there's just 2 of them in there. So they're basically just a clean Rot Knight fight again. So yeah, I'd put them below Godefroy the Gifted and Fia's Champion and Demi-Human Chief and Crystallians. No, they're harder than Crystallians. No, they're easier. Yeah, put them behind Demi-Human Queen, because at least Demi-Human Queen looks cool. The Kindred of Rot are mainly a minion mob. I think one of the strangest designs was Living Jars, especially that they had their own village. Yeah. Well, it's a joke about the pot smashing in Bloodborne and Dark Souls. They actually gave them souls. Literally. There are human souls inside them, which is really funny to me. It's an in-joke. Alright, Leonine Misbegotten. Oh, this is a good one. This is good. Not the best, but it's good. I'll put him above Bloodhound Knight Derrywill, below the Erdtree Avatar. That's how I feel about him. About the same complexity of moveset as Erdtree Avatar. Show up multiple times, in the same way. But yeah, it's a fun fight. Very fun fight. You feel like an acrobatic dancer if you're able to go toe-to-toe with him and not take much damage. Why is it the Kindred of Rot past threads so deadly, but the spell you learn is just a ranged tickle? It sucks, I know. It's the worst, Cosmic Forge. Lich Dragon Fortis Axe. I really love this dragon. He's also pretty easy, but he has a unique moveset and animations from every other dragon in the game. And a really weird dream sequence. That's basically what the boss is, a dream sequence. Interesting lore. Also, I learned the lore that he is literally Fia, the deathbed companion in dragon form. So that's pretty interesting, I gotta say. Better than the Godskin Noble and Apostle, but not as difficult as the Godskin Duo. I'm being called by my father. Let's put this guy above Godric the Grafted. And I will take a short break to talk on the phone. Be right back. Alright. Returning. Charles is back. With more tier listing. This is taking much longer than I expected. But this is what happens when you do an impromptu tier listing. There's a lot to talk about. In Soviet Russia, pot smashes you. I never thought about that. Oh, that's a good one. Wow. Didn't know all this. I should stop skipping cutscenes. If you read all of the different Fortis Acts related stuff, and then you read all of the FIA related stuff, it all comes together. Alright. Lion Guardian. Here we go. This is from Stormvale Castle. I think I like him better than the Grafted Scion. He's interesting to fight. He's fun to fight. I don't know why they listed him as a boss, though. Is he ever a boss, an actual boss with a health bar? I don't remember where that happens. He's less difficult than the Grafted Scion, but I enjoy fighting them all the time because they're so acrobatic. They're crazy. Basically, they are the, like, physical versions of Godfrey, the First Elden Lord's Empyrean boy. Good boys. Been quite enjoyable, but I must lurk and make some dinner, not pineapple pizza. Well, have a good dinner, Pally Cole. And I hope you have pineapple pizza soon, because that's a good thing in my mind. I approve. Okay, Loretta, Knight of the Halig Tree. Oh. I wonder if her spirit version shows up later. She doesn't. Surprising. Oh well. So overall, Loretta, Knight of the Halig Tree is a good fight. It's basically a much more unique version of the Tree Sentinels, albeit with magic abilities, so you get the best of both worlds, range and melee. Really hard and slippery to hit, but yeah, it's another very fun, timing-based, dancey fight, and therefore I would put it pretty high. She also looks beautiful in that armor. Ooh. Gracious. Oh, I would put her above the Godskin Noble and above the Godskin Apostle by themselves, but below the Godskin Duo. Wait. She is technically harder than the Godskin Duo. You know, she might even be better than the Dragonkin Soldiers. It's a really cool fight. And that horse has a lot of character. Also, the story is really sad. Really sad. I'll let you find that out for yourself. Mad Pumpkin Head. Oh, this is an iconic. I'm just gonna put him in S. I love Mad Pumpkin Head. The fight isn't anything special, but just the fact of the design and the name and the helm, the weapons he uses, his lore, it's all spectacular. This is a total bias moment. Lord Noggins! Exactly, Cosmic Forge. You have a great choice of character creation. None of your facial choices made any difference in the end. Yeah, no contest. I love him. I love him. If I were actually to be serious, though. If I were to be serious. Above Cemetery Shade, below Grafted Scion. But he's an S tier, iconic character in terms of design and lore. Mimic tier, F. I mean, the fact that you can change the Mimic tier based on what you put on before you enter the fight is pretty cool, but you don't know that the first time you go in. So it's basically just a mirror match. And a mirror match is pretty cool if there's lore based on it. It was pretty awesome in Zelda Ocarina of Time, but in Elden Ring it just seems like an afterthought to me. So... F. F. Like, they don't even give him more health than you. Really. Most cheesable boss in the game. Miranda, the Blighted Bloom. F. Need I say more? It's one of the many bloom flowers that you find, Miranda flowers, that you fight throughout the game, and they're really boring to fight. You have to wait around for their poison to go away. They have super slow abilities, and you just have to hit them until they die. Super simple. Really boring. Mohg the Omen. Hold on. Oh yes, Mohg Lord of Blood is separate. Okay, so this is the Phase 1 fight in the catacombs beneath Lane-Dell. Good lore. I don't know why there's 2 of him, but there's 2 of everything in this game. We shall place him above the Godskin duo and Dragonkin. Yes. I enjoyed him. He's a very cool character as well. Why did the Black Blade Kindred go down there? What the heck? Where'd I put him? Where did he go? Oh, there he is. Okay, so this was... Where was this? Probably, like, right here? Somewhere in there. Mohg the Omen is above the Dragonkin, below Loretta, Knight of the Halig Tree. He has less abilities than her. Fun fight, though. Welcome back, young sprite. We're in the lavatory getting a cleansing. How are you doing? I am well. Thank you so much for cleansing yourself. Dutiful fellow as you are. A gentleman always keeps his hygiene impeccable. Alright, Mohg Lord of Blood. This one is... right there. Third in A. I really like this fight. If you don't cheese him with bleed, which is really ironic, because you can just kill him with, if there's any Ash of War ability that allows you to keep attacking swiftly, so that you get bleed procs more quickly, then you can just sit there and smack him with it until he dies, and he won't even have the ability to fight back, because he's stuck in his animations between stages of the fight. But if you don't do that, it's a very hard-fought fight. He's very aggressive, he's very swift, he has lots of mobility, he gets flippin' 4 wings later on. He's an amazing design. I think the voice actor is poorly cast, but he does a good job regardless. And the whole Mother of Blood thing is really disturbing and weird and cool. I like it. It's freaky. It is so evil. Make sure to take 2 showers a day. Holy crap. I think that's a bit much, but if you don't wash your hair too much, it's fine. Also, finally bought your homecoming ticket. Excellent. I pray all goes well at the homecoming. Right, next is Magma Worm. Magma Worm. I do hope that the whole Mother of Blood and there's more on that in the DLC. So the Magma Worm is another one of my favorites, but not a very interesting fight. Like, it's basically big honkin' slash attacks with breathing magma put on repeat. But he's huge, so him moving around can kill you. But, I don't know, I like his animations a lot. His design is really cute and really cool. He's like a giant salamander with scales and spits magma. I would put him above the full-grown Falling Star Beast and Commander O'Neill. Yeah. Hi, B. Hi, B. Don't wash your hair in the second shower. Excellent, you know what you're doing, young sprite. Good man. Melania! This is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. Melania, Blade of Michaela. What do we do? F. Oh my gosh. I think this has to go in S. I think it does, because it's such a complex fight. If this were easier, it'd be fine. If they just made her deal less damage, it would be great. It wouldn't change my thoughts on it. But she has taken the world by storm. Anyone who knows anything about Elden Ring or video games has heard of Melania, because it's such a legendary accomplishment to have defeated her. It is definitely a skill-based fight, more than anything. And that is something to be celebrated, I think. Also, she's a redhead, and has this Valkyrie theme going on. Amazing, amazing design. Love it. Yay, we're making tier list. Welcome in, Inky Piranha 97. Welcome back to Charles Chill Channel, and my Elden Ring impromptu boss tier list. How are you doing on this wondrous Wednesday? Next, we have Malekith, the Black Blade. Hotly debated, fan favorite of the furry community. I like him. He's cool. I love his armor. His armor is some of the coolest in the game. You also get the big reveal of the cleric beast being Malekith, the Black Blade. So, that's interesting. He also has an insane moveset. Very difficult to figure out how to defeat him, but once you know how to utilize the pillars and dodge his attacks, he becomes much more doable. So he's not the most difficult, but he is really fast and aggressive in the second phase, and ties into the main lore of the game, the Rune of Death. So, I think he deserves to be quite high. Definitely above Loretta, Knight of the Halig Tree, and Godric the Grafted. Yeah, right up there above Moog, Lord of Blood. Yeah. What order are you reading the Bible in? Ah, yes, we're reading one chapter of Ecclesiastes, or a Solomon book, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, before our main Bible reading, which is 5 chapters of the rest of the Bible. Right now we're in, I believe, Romans, and then we end out in a psalm. And every time we reach the end of Psalms, we start again to close it out. So, rereading the Solomon books and Psalms over and over, but we're reading 5 chapters in order of the Bible, as it is canonically put in the non-Catholic version. We're not reading the what is it called? What's it called? The Apocrypha. Not reading the Apocrypha, or pseudepigrapha. So, yeah. Reading it in order of placement in the Bible. Really? Your tanky build got through that fight fairly okay in comparison to most others. Yeah, it's not super hard. It's really fast, though. If you have the right armor set and build, he's not very difficult at all. But I have struggled with him before. A lot of people say he's one of the hardest bosses in the game. I'm like, what? But he's really cool. So that's mainly the reason he's up there. Alright, Margit, the Fell Omen. Ooh, okay. May have to rethink this. He's S. He's S, definitely. Question is Godry the first Elden Lord as high as him or higher than him? Definitely an S contender. We'll come back to Margit the Fell Omen. Most imposing boss in all of Limgrave. And the one most people will remember, outside of Melania. Melania and Margit. Biggest difficulty spikes in the game, in my opinion. Just 2 of them, though. Morgott, the Omen King. I really enjoy the fight, but it is so much easier than Margit. So much easier. Holy crap. I've never died to him before. Morgott, the Omen King. Killed him first time, every time. So... I mean, it's very impressive. The lead-up is massive. The payoff is massive. Huge lore dumps. Reveals. I'll put him above Lich Dragon Fortisax and below Moog, Lord of Blood. I struggled way more with Moog than him. Knights Cavalry, these beloved riders. They're memorable. They are very special. Special folk. I like them, but they're not as big, powerful, or difficult as the Crucible Knights, in my opinion. And they don't have a very big moveset. So I think I shall place them somewhere in B, middle B. Probably above the Leonine Misbegotten, and below the Erdtree Avatar. Yes. Alright, the Nox Duo. This is an interesting fight because nothing in the game is like them yet. First time you fight anything Nox Stella related. But it's not difficult. Never died to them either. Maybe once. Accidentally got smacked by their stretchy steel blades. Or whatever they are. But yeah, not very interesting. The design is interesting. I would say they are more interesting looking than the Crystallians. And harder and more complex than the Demi-Human Chief. Similar, in fact, to the Fia's Champion fight. Alright, Omen Killer. This one, I've died so many times to this guy. He just has a very, very mean, barbaric moveset. And fire, and dogs. Very similar to the Capra Demon, in fact. He is the Capra Demon! He even has... He has the cleavers, he has the moveset, and he has 2 dogs in an enclosed space. Holy crap! He's just the Capra Demon. Oh my gosh. Whoa. I never... Okay. That's crazy. That is crazy. I'll put him below the Leonine Misbegotten. He becomes a pretty normal enemy. Yeah, Elamir of the Briar might deserve to go higher than Bloodhound Knight and Omen Killer. Yeah, I think so. Hello, Pappy! Thank you for the Berber King and Berber Gum. Good to see you. How are ya?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah. Thank you.
And there's french fries in there.
Cool. Would you mind bringing me a plate?
Wait.
Nope. Mother may be using it. Gotta add this to the conspiracy list. I mean, it's the same basic AI. Side swipes, downward smash with 2 cleavers. I wouldn't even say it's conspiracy, it's just facts. Patches! He returns from Souls as well. I wouldn't call him a boss fight, really. I mean, I guess he technically has a health bar and name, so... Yeah. Down in C. Memorable character. The design is iconic, classic. I need a plate. Thank you. Big plate. Next is Onyx Lord. There's not much to say about Patches' boss fight. It's just Patches. Oblivion Knight, greetings and salutations, my loyal lurker. Hello. Onyx Lord. These guys are fun to fight. Not especially difficult. I did die the first time I fought them. They remind me a lot of Sekiro's headless fights, but not as difficult, not as hard at all. Very cool lore, very cool design. They're like dark elves in Warhammer. Do I like them better than the dragons? Probably not. Thank you, again. Probably better than Patches. Better than the Demi-Human Queen. Not by much, though. Yeah, better than the Demi-Human Queen. I wish the Demi-Human Queens were better. Oblivion Knight, we are doing a tier listing of Elden Ring bosses in order of complexity and visual design. That's basically it. How well put together the boss fight was. How memorable. Not necessarily the difficulty is a part of it. It's definitely part of the rubric, but not the most important part. Perfumer Trisha was a really boring fight. Leonine misbegotten with a perfumer, healing it. But, you know, that's an interesting combo. That's an interesting combo. Pretty normal, though. Above Crystallians, I guess. Crystallians are memorable. Patricia is not. Yeah, Onyx Lord is better, though. I'm enjoying this. I think we're getting close to the end, friends. Putrid Tree Spirit. Yeah, this is the big addition that Elden Ring has, where no other game has really had this outside of the Pus of Man in Dark Souls 3. So, we're going to put this... It's a unique fight. I like the design. It's interesting. And the first time you fight it, it's always going to be a shock. It's a shocking fight. Incredibly strong, lots of health. Does elemental damage pukes, one-shot, grab, and eat attack. It's interesting. Not my favorite fight, as it does get repeated ad nauseum as well. But I think I like it just as much as the Magma Worm and full-grown, Falling Star Beasts, as there are many. Radagon of the Golden Order. This is very difficult, and, like, the iconic theme of the game is wrapped up in this guy. I have always had a hard time with this guy, even though, like, you can time his attacks to not take any damage. It's really hard for me to do so. I think he is a better fight than Margit the Fell Omen, more difficult. If he were by himself and the Elden Beast were not after him, it would still be a very difficult fight. Is he better than Godfrey? I like Godfrey Godfrey, Charles, the first Elden Lord more. But I do think Radagon has a bit more mechanical complexity, and it requires a bit more skill to fight. Glad you moved Godfrey to S tier. Yeah, it only makes sense. It only makes sense. If we're putting Margit up in S tier, then Godfrey can't be below Margit. That's what always comes out from these tier listings. The comparative values of each one. Red Wolf of Radagon. This is okay. I like the Misbegotten. Leonine Misbegotten more, I think. But, well, do I like him more or less? I don't know. Pretty easy, super fast, one of the fastest bosses in the game. But, you know, generally don't die more than 2 or 3 times when I fight him. Although there is the much harder version in Ronnie's questline. But when he's harder and has more health, it's just annoying. I'll put him, yeah, above Leonine Misbegotten, behind Knight's Cavalry. I like Knight's Cavalry a lot more. Their weapons are cooler, and you can get them. Rykard, Lord of Blasphemy. S, top of S, best boy. Join the Serpent King as family. Together we shall devour the very god. It's just they made the spectacle gimmick boss fight into an actual legitimate challenge and fight. And that is impressive. That is incredible. Claps for Rykard, Lord of Blasphemy. Most memorable fight for me behind Melania. But I like him more, so that's why he's above. Also, the spectacle makes up a lot of why he's up there. You can definitely cheese him, but that doesn't really bring down the genius of the boss fight. The reveal of his human face, or his god face in his serpent body, and the similarity of him to the body of Godwyn, makes the lore make a little bit more sense as well. Lot of lore behind him. Very important character in the lore, though he does not seem to be. So many of these are optional. Scaly Misbegotten. This is just a guy with an axe. Below Patches. Yeah. Actually, Kindred of Rot, below Patches as well. Yeah, Patches is more memorable than Perfumer Trisha. Okay, Sir Gideon Ofnir. I like this guy. I died many times in my first attempt to kill him, but he is very easy to kill if you have speed and damage. If you don't, good luck. He has all of the magical abilities of all of the bosses that you have fought. So, if you haven't fought certain of the bosses of the game, then he won't have those spells, which I think is one of the most very interesting mechanics. Very important character as well, well voiced, interesting armor set. Lower than Godric the Grafted and Loretta. Above Moog the Omen, because there's more to him than Moog the Omen. Moog, the Lord of Blood, of course, takes the cake over Sir Gideon. Interesting character. Haven't really fleshed out all that's going on in his story yet. But he's a betrayer. Thinks himself intelligent. Soldier of Godric. This has to go in S2 for the memes. The best boss, the first boss. The first one you can actually beat. But in all actuality, it's F tier. Probably above Miranda, though. Yeah. He's just a dude. A dude. He's not even an elite. But the reveal of him is interesting. The boss of the training arc. Spirit Caller Snail is next. Also F. Pretty interesting, though, for F. Calls in a bunch of Crucible Knights. But yeah, that's not enough to make him an actual challenge. There's no special skill you need. It's just be aware of where the snail is, who has very little health, and you win. Regal. Ancestor Spirit. I really like this one. By the time you fight him, he's way too easy, just like his previous self. But he also heals by killing all of the animal spirits around him, and has like 5 different movesets that he takes from the animals around him. He has the boar rush, he has the sheep roll, he has the deer hop, and a few more others. I like him though, he's just not very difficult or mechanically interesting. He's like a less difficult dragon, but his design is amazing. It is. I'll put him above the magma worm. He deserves to be up there. Just because Bambi. Rudolph and Bambi. Next, Renala, Queen of the Full Moon. This is a special one. Mid-game boss. Early mid-game boss. First phase, gimmicky trash. Gimmicky trash. Second phase, interesting gimmicky trash. Beautiful, fun, but it's still kind of trash. She doesn't have very many abilities. Whoa, I accidentally clicked this. Where was this? Oh yeah, above Falling Star Beast. Oh my gosh, there we go. Where'd you go? There. Okay, so Renala, Queen of the Full Moon. I'd say she's better than the Regal Ancestor Spirit. Sure. It's kind of strange that a main game boss should be in B tier. Royal Knight Loretta. Okay, so her lesser self is in here. Better than the Magma Worm. Not quite as good as the Regal Ancestor Spirit, in my opinion. Easy to kill, but just a less interesting Loretta. The Royal Revenant. This is what we were talking about before, with the many arms and teleporting and poison. This thing is super difficult, whenever you find them. But he does show up a lot. In the Haligdri, there are like 5 of them in a row. But they are terrifying. One of the most deadly enemies in the game, with super fast combo attacks. He can stagger you to death. Where do I put this? Above Lion Guardian, below Fire Giant. That's the one that makes you want to hurl your controller the most. Agreed. Agreed. He's harder than Renala. Like, what the heck? I died more times to him in Liurnia of the Lakes than Renala. What in the world? Alright. Rune Bear. This one is, again, one of the hardest minions or mobs in the game. Deserves to be a boss every time he shows up. I'll put him above Knight's Cavalry, below Erdtree Avatar. Although, there are points in which the Erdtree Avatar is easier than the Rune Bear. Yeah, they literally don't stop attacking you, and you can't run from them. That is an interesting thing about them. They will always catch up to you. They are faster than you, even when you're on Torrent. It's really annoying and frustrating. Because if you're low level and you're trying to run around and get some items or a weapon early game, and you meet one of those and they see you, you're just screwed. You are going to die. You have to die. Unless they fall through the floor. In which case, huzzah. Most definitely the most glitched enemy in the game. Star Scourge Radon. This guy has to be up here, right? Like, he's definitely been nerfed the heck out. But the essence of what he does, his impact, the lead up to it, the theatrical, dramatic, like, performance of the lead up to this boss fight is enough to put him into A or S. What do you think, chat? Star Scourge Radon, A or S? It's probably the most amazing visual experience outside of Rykard, Lord of Blasphemy. But you can literally just summon a bunch of people and shoot him from afar and he'll die. You just have to make sure not to get hit by the giant meteor smash. I don't know. Not better than Melania, because Melania's mechanical difficulty is far higher. Is he better than Margit? Yeah, probably. I don't think he's better than Godfrey. We'll put him right here. Above Margit the Fell Omen, below Godfrey the First Elden Lord. Makes sense. We got some monsters in S tier. As it should be. Stone Digger Troll, F. He's not even as interesting as Miranda the Blighted Bloom. Just a golden giant. I don't know. They just put a gold giant in a cave and called it quits. He does have more abilities than a giant. So that's something. So I guess he's better than Soldier of Godric, but what the heck? He's so stupidly easy. I'm sad about that, though. It could be better. Tibia Mariner, the classic. Not a very interesting fight, but a very interesting concept and very cool visuals. Calls a bunch of skeletons. You can farm Deathroot out of finding him. Better than Scaly Misbegotten. This is no regular mob. Does show up a lot more. He's supposed to show up a lot more, and you're you get that, right? So I don't really have a problem with repetition with this guy, because you're always kind of on the lookout for Tibia Mariners, so you can get that Deathroot, that sweet, sweet Deathroot. Heh. I'll put him just below. I'll put him above the Nox duo. Yeah. He's not as hard as they are, but I like him more. He's a character. The Nox duo just feel like a mob of unique enemies smashed together into a boss arena. Kind of feel out of place, but the Tibia Mariner, I like him. Good theming. He has the Rune of Death holding up his lantern, which is so poetic. Tree Sentinel, the classic, one of the first hardest bosses you will fight in Limgrave, behind Margit, but he does not stand up to the Royal Knight Loretta fight. I think... Who? Above or below the Knight's Cavalry, because I think that he should be there, right next to them. Above. He has more abilities. Yeah. It's more of a fight for your life than with the Knight's Cavalry. They don't have that second phase shield bashing nonsense. So, yeah, Tree Sentinel, excellent. Paladin fight, really cool enemy design. Valiant Gargoyle, the double fight, right? Let's see if there's another gargoyle fight. There is not. Already. In that case, this just goes a little bit above the Black Blade Kindred. Because at least it's in an arena where you can actually fight them. And it's really difficult. It's another gargoyle double fight. Classic Souls formula. Although with added poison and black flame abilities. That's a good addition. Wormface. terrifying, disturbing, Lovecraftian creature. But not much to it. More difficult than the Cemetery Shade or Mad Pumpkinhead. Less difficult than the Grafted Scion. Don't really have too much to say about them, other than they have a really interesting design. They eat you, though. They do stuff you into their face and you die, and you're gone, which is also an interesting, unique death animation. They don't do that a lot in FromSoft. Also, Deathblight is a pain in the neck, for sure. Abductor Virgins. Double abductor fight. I don't like these. I don't. They're slow and they do too much damage and they take too little. Kind of like the Miranda flowers in that way. But they are a very unique enemy type. The double fight is not much to write home about, though. I'd put them above the Nox duo. Yeah. Next, Adan, Thief of Fire. I like this guy. Giant, fat armor. He's a fire monk with some lore. It's another Everjail fight, but you never fight this guy again. It's one of the... I think he's the only other character in the game other than the fire giant that uses Flame of the Fell God as an incantation. He also uses a flail, which is an excellent choice, and a chainmail hood. But he's nowhere near as good as the Crucible Knight, so he's got to be somewhere in, like, C, probably. I remembered him more than Esgar, Priest of Blood, so we'll put him above him. Yeah. Sadly, must head to bed. Have enjoyed the tier list. Good night and God bless. Good night and God bless, MNC Gamers. Take care, my top-added Federalists and mods. Be well. If anyone has not already considered doing so, go follow MNC Gamers on Twitch. An excellent pair of very Scottish, lovely streamers. I love them. And you should too. You're welcome, MNC Gamers. You are welcome. Alright, only 6 more to go. Alabaster Lord is just another Alabaster Lord. Where's the other one? There are too many of these. Anyone remember where I put the other one? Whoops. I don't see him. Anyway. Thanks for the love, MNC Gamers. Oh, there he is, the Onyx Lord. Yes, yes, yes. I'll put him above him, because I think he's... Wait, that's an Everjail. Put him below him, then. Yeah. They're equivalent. They do slightly different things. But same. Alecto, Black Knife Ringleader. Put him above the Black Knife Assassins. Just a bit, though. Hardest Black Knife Assassin to fight. But not a big deal. Everjail. Ancestor Spirit, the easier reindeer. He's gotta go pretty low, because he is super easy, and not even as interesting as his regal self. I'll put him above the Rune Bear. He would be pleased to be next to his animal kindred. Ancient Hero of Zamor. This guy can either be super easy or super difficult. I'll put him above Tibia Mariner, at least. Yeah, but he is a normal mob eventually. Harder and showing up later in the game. Now we have Astel, Natural Born of the Void, and Astel, Stars of Darkness. I like them both. They're both really tough. I don't remember which is harder. These guys can go to heck. I hate them. But it is a good fight. It's kind of a marathon fight every time I face them. Lower than Moog, I would say. And with that, I believe we're finished. Basically, let's just check one more time whether or not there should be any more in S tier. I could move up Moog Lord of Blood, Elden Beast, Malekith up to S. But do they deserve it? Anyone deserve to go down? I think we've done it. I think that's it for me. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. It has been an excellent tier listing. This is my tier list. Is there any way to zoom out? Not really. Exit full screen. Can do that. Ta-da! This is a big list. Roll big. Roll big. There you have it. I shall now be returning to Elden Ring. Thank you all so much for watching. Thanks again, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye, goodbye, thank you, goodbye. The good Lord loves you, and so do I. Goodbye.